hello. Hope you're doing well today. It is Sunday, the June 15th. And yeah, hope everyone's had a fantastic weekend. Everyone's had time to enjoy, relax, and everything. Had a good time because summer should be kicking off, and it feels like it is at the same time. With lots of rain is being promised, so not that great for look. I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is. But of course, looking at Arsenal, looking at transfers, there is always a thunderstorm around, well, pretty much every single bloody corner, which is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. We have to live with this. We have to deal with this. And hence why the title of today's stream is, When Will It End? I know we are 2 weeks in. Deals still can be done. The players cannot just be registered. So by default, you actually can sign players. Let's be real. And obviously, Gyökeres versus Šeško, the saga continues. Arsenal transfer news. This is the title for today, but ultimately today what we're going to talk about is the latest on Gyökeres, some stuff about Sesko, and after that, let's be real, it's an open book pretty much. It's an open show in that regard. We're going to talk about a few transfers, but after that we can talk about whatever the hell we want. Let's be real, because it is coming to a point where until the player holds up the shirt of the club and everything, until Fabrizio gives a here we go, until Arsenal tweeted out or shows that he has signed, or Ornstein and someone like more credible than the usual suspects do their thing, announce players, like I'm kind of starting to check out, because talking daily about the same stuff is getting on my nerves. I'm not gonna lie. There are stuff I can talk about daily without problems, but when you talk only about the two players, about the same thing, same stuff being reported day in, day out, basically with different phrasing, let's be real, it gets long to say the least. So we're gonna talk about it, and then maybe tomorrow we might actually deviate away from the transfer news, despite the fact that tomorrow transfer window reopens again, or is it even today? I think it's tomorrow. Transfer window opens tomorrow again. Maybe by then we will get some more clarification, but doesn't look like it, and kind of unlikely in my opinion. So it is what it is, I guess. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna wait for it. Let's just put it that way. We have to wait and see how the things develop, because I tend to pre-plan the streams about what we're going to talk about and everything, and then I add bits and bobs here or there, depending on the news that drop during the day. But it looks like I need to deviate away quite a bit from transfer news, because I'm not going to lie, as I said, it's getting long, it's getting annoying, and it's like, who wants to hear about Gyökeres' 55,000 tweet that the deal is happening, people are talking, there is some interest and all that stuff? Who wants? Like, serious talk, who wants to hear that? So we'll see how this goes. But just before we get into this, hopefully for one of the last times before it actually happens, smash the like button if you haven't already. It takes a second, helps the stream out, share it around and everything. Subscribe if you're new around here. Road to 1K is going strong, in hopes to get to 1,000 subscribers by the start of the season, which basically is in 2 months pretty much. And if I'm not mistaken, Premier League schedule gets announced as well this Friday or something weird like that. It's very, very soon. So that will be interesting to see how that develops. And of course, leave your thoughts down in the live chat so we can tackle them, we can discuss them. And I'm not going to lie, I'm putting this all to you. We can talk about Arsenal, we can talk about transfers, or we can even talk about grandmother's cooking. I don't care. Not going to lie, I don't care. Big up Mubarak, big up long time and good enough you're back. Yeah, it's 1 day off, I'm not gonna lie. It seems like I haven't streamed for a year, not gonna lie. Ultimately, but yeah, had a party yesterday, girlfriend's birthday and everything, so basically had to celebrate. Let's be real, had to celebrate. You cannot ignore these things, even though I don't celebrate my own birthday ever, have never in my life, so it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. But for others, I don't mind. I genuinely don't mind. But today, of course, we are back. We are fully back. Now, let's see what's happening here, what's going on. Let's see what's happening in terms of, what's its face? I already forgot. Gyökeres. Here we go. Victor Gyökeres. That's who we have to talk about today. Because, again, when is this going to end? Like, serious talk. When is this going to end? Because you pretty much daily get reports that contradict each other. So I genuinely am at a point where this will be arguably one of the last times I talk about it until we get some hella concrete news. Let's just put it that way. Afterwards, we're going to talk about other things, other bits and bobs, and all this good stuff when you can imagine. But of course, starting off with this, this is according to one of the biggest outlets in Portugal regarding sports, if not the biggest. Arsenal never made an offer for Sporting's Victor Gyökeres all of a sudden. He is a target, but Arteta's priority has always been Šeško. So nothing new here, nothing new here. But given the fact that one day we hear we have made an offer, another day we haven't made an offer. One day Gyokeres is number one target, other day Sesko number one target. It genuinely feels like two different people are doing business. Seriously. One is Berta, who wants Gyökeres, other one is Arteta, who wants Sesko, basically. That's what it looks like. One day we get news from Berta, other day we get the news from Arteta. That's what it feels like, basically. Because one day Gyökeres is number one target, there's a bid and all this stuff. Next day, there is no bid for Gyökeres, Sesko is number one target, deal is advancing. And go figure afterwards. But yeah, Gyökeres is still on the list in the case deal doesn't materialize, and his preference at our Arsenal over United. That was actually reported yesterday by Fabrizio Romano as well, that Victor Gyökeres prefers moving to Arsenal instead of Manchester United, which at the end of the day sounds very neat, very nice, because you can look at it as that Gyökeres wants Premier League move, he wants Champions League football and all this stuff, but ultimately it feels like Gyökeres himself, if this is true, by the way, given that it's coming from Fabrizio, it has a bit more credibility. It looks like Gyökeres' entourage themselves are saying, sign me up. I'm ready to move. What are you waiting for? Meanwhile, Arsenal are looking at this and thinking, well, I'm doing nothing. They're looking at Sesko and still hoping that they can get Sesko. So ultimately, the longer we will drag this out, the smaller are the chances we're going to sign the damn player. Because at the end of the day, the longer he stays on market, the less of a chances are that Arsenal are going to get him, and bigger are the chances that other team is going to swoop in right under our noses and sign him up. And so on top of that, I'm not going to lie, there's also a big issue about this is the fact that we're going to drag this out and it's going to be too late. I'm not going to lie, it could come to a point where it is too late because the reports are all over the place. Because if I turn this off, and I'm going to share another screen in a second, because this is the stuff we see. We see that it's still Sesko is priority and everything. There was never a bid for Gyökeres and everything, tier one sources and everything. Then you hear from Fabrizio that Gyökeres is priority all of a sudden, despite the calls from Manchester United and everything. It can be rejected and all this stuff. But ultimately, there is nothing. There is genuinely nothing to talk about in regards of Victor Gyökeres and Benjamin Sesko, because I'm just sick and tired. Like, serious talk. Serious talk. It's all cap, all BS, and I'm just sick and tired of talking about it. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm genuinely gonna keep it a buck. Tomorrow, I will stream 100%. Will I talk about Sesko and Gyökeres? Unless there is some major advancements on the deal, that, for example, Arsenal submit a bid and the deal is agreed, and now it's just a matter of medicals and something like that, I'm not going to talk about Gyökeres or Sesko. Because these rumors have basically put me into such situation that ultimately I much rather sit here with you guys and talk about grandmother's cooking. I talk about that the grass is greener, I don't know, in Netherlands than it's compared to Sweden and stuff like that. Whether the infamous meme from 2012, the dress is blue or black or white or whatever, we can have that discussion. For me, that feels at the moment more interesting, more engaging, and more like exciting than listening and talking daily about a deal or deals in this case that might happen, might not happen, and the same stuff being said all the goddamn time. Like, it's utter disgrace. And the sooner this BS gets resolved, Arsenal either sign one of them or doesn't sign any of them, the better. I'm not gonna lie. It has come to a point at this with me. And I'm telling already this right now. If we don't sign any of those, it's gonna be very, very nasty on this channel. Because to put Arsenal fans in general through this, when you make content on it, when you want to discuss this and everything regarding two players that apparently both want Arsenal, yet one day they want, the other day they don't. One day you submit bid for both, the other day you don't submit bid for anyone. The other one day is the one is number one target, other day another one is number one target. And if you at the end of the day sign no one of them, it's gonna be Peakums. Because to put Arsenal fans through this type of torture, it's completely different story. People may say, oh, so why you're complaining? Why are you following? Then check out from this. Well, let's be real. Half of these guys don't follow social media. They are on socials, but they don't go it all the time. Right? I have social media because I have people here. I love streaming. I love the news and everything. But there is just a point where the penny drops. Same happened with me when there was Vlahovic. Same happened last year when it was Calafiori and everything. Just at some point, you genuinely feel disgusted about this. It's actually kind of nuts. Exactly. It's basically all cap because you'll hear the same stuff every single day. And it basically, one day you hear everything, let's just say, positive about Gyökeres and negative about the Sesko. Next day, it's reversed. Same stuff getting said, just negative about Gyökeres, positive about Sesko. And it's all the same, all the time, the same stuff, which basically is making me just think, just sitting here and doing maybe another stream where we talk about forgotten ballers from 2010s, 2000s, basically. Talk about maybe make a different stream of, I don't know, top 5 wingers Arsenal could sign to replace Martinelli, top 5 left wingers and stuff like that. It is coming to that point where transfer news is just big and utter dross. Plus talking about Arteta getting sacked, who cares at the end of the day? Because he's not going. And at best, he's gone by Christmas. At worst, he can also see out his contract. So that is also not going to change. We can talk about Kroenke out. We can talk about it. Is that going to happen? Nope. Like, it's basically a lose-lose situation no matter how you look at it. And I much rather just go and sit here and genuinely talk about how good my grandmother was at cooking pastries, how good was her soup when I was a kid, how grass was much greener on the same place where it was 10 years ago or something like that, how water is more blue, for example, in ocean compared to the sea. That's basically I am at certain point. That's where I am right now, which is quite kind of pissing me off to the maximum extent that Arsenal have basically made it into such situation for me. That's what's annoying for me. Like, not to say, let me fix my camera because it went out of focus a bit. So let me quickly, let me do the right thing and fix it properly. Here we go. So yeah, man, I give up at the start. Exactly. That's where it has come to basically. World Cup is, well, it just started, but it's hella mid at the moment. Bayern Munich won 10-0. Wow. Inter Miami drew 0-0. It's just Auckland City is a semi-pro team, by the way. It's not even a pro team. It's a semi-pro team. Like, seriously. And they play against one of the best teams in the world, no matter how you look at it. One of the biggest teams in the world. Like, why? And the tickets to games like this specifically, Bayern Munich against Auckland, right, cost between 300 to 700 euros. 300 to 700 euros. Like, make it make sense. Big up, AJ. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope you're feeling well. Man, yeah, it's not. It's like it's insane. Can't tell me what these other teams doing the Club World Cup other than getting dumped. Like, that's the thing. Unless you have the great, like, proper games, like, for example, I'm not watching it. I know that at the moment PSG are playing Atletico Madrid, right? Real Madrid are gonna play Saudi, one of the big teams, the Real Madrid of Saudi, Al Hilal, and teams like that. Other games, like, is there anything? Like, for example, Man City are, I don't know the schedule, but for example, Man City are gonna play Kawasaki something rather from Japan. Game is gonna end 8-0. Like, who cares? Like seriously, who the hell cares? It's so ass backwards. Like sometimes. JJ Okocha, damn, that was a player, just an amazing player. Yeah. Man City, Cherokee Reindeers, Naipan, who is gonna get loaned out to somewhere as well, who called all Japan, quick signed him. Like seriously, like it's nuts. Marlon, why don't you? Yeah, that is also a question. Why does he doesn't use his main? The only good matchup at Let's Go is PSG at the moment, yeah. Because I didn't have my device for the main account. I get it. Wait, let's look at this. Club World Cup schedule. Why not? Let's look at Club World Cup schedule just to see what type of games are happening in general in Club World Cup and how does it look, because ultimately it's quite embarrassing. Let's just put it that way. Let's genuinely just put it that way. Here we go. Games that have begun and starting Club World Cup. Al Ali played Inter Miami 0-0. That was a lame-ass game. Bayern just beat Auckland City 10-0. Semi-pro team. Fantastic. Currently, PSG are playing Atletico Madrid. You could argue most exciting game currently, right? Palmeiras versus Porto. I'm not gonna lie, it's a great game. Porto, Portuguese team, plays fantastic football. Palmeiras, Brazilian team. Brazilian teams notoriously play very good football. And you don't see Brazilian football too much unless you stay up until 3 a.m. where I live, and then you watch Brazilian League. Or Copa Libertadores. Or the other one. Not Libertadores, but the other one. What's the other one called? Oh, for fuck's sake, my brain has gone into mush. Like otherwise. Botafogo would be a nice watch unless they played Seattle Sounders. Like, that's just a mid-ass dead game. Boca Juniors versus Benfica, that will be a fantastic game. Already can tell you, because Boca Juniors are one of the biggest teams in Argentina against one of the biggest teams in Portugal. They will go pound per pound. Flamenco against, who the hell is S. Tunis? Like, serious talk, who is S. Tunis? Let me check quickly. S. Tunis. What the hell is this team? S. Tunis. It's a team from Tunis, short. From Tunisia. Oh my bloody hell. Yeah, that's going to be a fun game. That's going to be a fun game. It's not mid. For me personally, the way I look at this, Boca Juniors Benfica, fantastic game. Just because you want to watch some overpaid teams play football, it's a completely different story. For example, Benfica play decent football. Boca Juniors play fantastic football. Botafogo against Sounders, it's a very mid game, but Botafogo play good football. Porto against Palmeiras, it's fantastic as well. Like, Fluminense versus Dortmund as well will be a great game. Let's be real. Portugal, one of the best Brazilian teams against one of the best German sides. It will be a great matchup. Those games I would love to watch, and I will watch, by the way. It starts quite early on Tuesday. River Plate against Uravalets, that's mid. Ulsan, like, I know who Ulsan is, but overall, this game, like, it's just mid. Ulsan versus Mamelodi Sundowns. Ticket to this game costs $400. Who the hell on earth is going to pay $400 to go watch this game? Like, serious talk. Like, what are we doing here? Monterrey versus Inter Milan could be a good game. Mexican, make one of the best teams in Mexico versus Inter Milan. Man City versus whatever that team is. Like, serious talk. Like, who cares? It's actually kind of nuts. Real Madrid against Al Hilal will be a good game. 100%. Pachuca versus RB Salzburg. Imagine Salzburg are in Club World Cup. Like, that is already. And of course, Al Ain versus Juventus. Like, that's a completely different story. But overall, these games are so mid because I get the Club World Cup by definition gets best by FIFA coefficients and winning tournaments and everything, best teams in the world from specific regions. You know, Asia, Europe, and everything. I totally get it, 100%. But to watch these games to some extent, especially since they're happening in USA, where most of the footballing world is on the other side of the ocean, right? And they have to get up at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., if not 5 a.m. before work to watch them. It's insane, to say the least. And to add on top of that, Who is gonna wake up again at 5 a.m. to watch like some random Japanese team to play against some random, I don't know, whatever that like some random African team, for example? Who's gonna watch that? Like, it's all about the money, I get it, but at least then for me, a big reason also why Club World Cup is not selling tickets and everything is because it's the USA. They should have done the Club World Cup at least in a country where there is some football heritage, where there is football is a passion, not just random thing or on the uprise. I get why, because USA pay good money for this, commercial wise and everything, right? But playing, for example, Club World Cup in Germany, Italy, France, Spain, or even in Brazil or Argentina, that would be a completely different story. Let's be real. That would be completely different football, completely different atmosphere and everything. So that, I don't know. And the tickets, of course, overpriced to the moon, to say the least. At this point, I would rather watch Scottish League. True. Man City, maybe. Teams I ain't ever heard of till now. Exactly, that's the thing. Half the team, like, I know about 80, more even, 90% of the teams, right? 90%. But I know, like, most of the teams I know by default just because of their names, their heritage, and I know some players there. I know that there is a team, for example, Urawa Reds, right? Or Auckland City. I know teams like that exist. Can I name you one player from there? Never ever in my life. Seriously. I could just guess random Japanese name, random that. Maybe I will hit the target. Basically, throw a blind dart and maybe it hits. Otherwise, besides name, I don't know them. But if you look at other teams, yeah, those I know. Yeah, and I have no problem with that. But again, the fact that it's in USA really screws up everything. I'm sick and tired of Arsenal preseason start July 23rd and we have done nothing. In a month, pretty much in a month, Arsenal are flying to Singapore. And we have nothing done. That is genuinely sickening to the core, to say the least. That is one of those most annoying things you can ever imagine. But let's be real, as an Arsenal fan, you should be used to it. That's what Arsenal does every single time. Not even, unfortunately, and to some extent, Berta also has been put on such a expectation horse that it's actually kind of nuts, if you ask me. A bit nuts. Now, I'm not too sure how true this is because it genuinely doesn't feel like this could be a proper story, proper truth. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of would take this guy at Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie. According to Polymarket, according to Ed Regio, whoever that is, by the way, let's check whoever that is. News from, it's Eindhoven News, okay, from the Netherlands themselves. Arsenal are interested in PSV Eindhoven's winger Johan Bakayoko. Ironically enough, we've been linked with Bakayoko for a few summers as well. It's not like the first summer we are linked with him, so go figure, I guess. Go genuinely figure. The player is said to be available for just 17 million, which is kind of nuts, with just 1 year left on his contract. It's kind of insane, because Bakayoko, didn't like PSV reject about 35-40 million bid from Brentford last summer or something like that? And now he's available for 2.5 times less than his actual worth is, pretty much. I know that there is an article, I read it, and it says basically that they much rather sell him now, allegedly for cut price deal for 17 million, than rather lose him next summer for free. I get that. I totally and utterly get that. But that price drop from 40 to 17 seems well hella too quick and too big to actually be true. I'm gonna be honest with you. Seems well hell to be true. Why did Berta take the job if he would have no power? Like, we can speculate about this as well. Why did he take the job if he knew that? I don't know that he would. I don't know. Like, for me, I said this before Berta arrived, and when Berta arrived as well. I expect big things from him this summer, right? I expect him getting deals done this summer. However, I have a very, very, very strong suspicion that Andrea Berta has been brought in now to get deals done that Arteta wants right now. And basically, once, by the looks of things, if we win nothing, right? Arteta fails, Berta is more in the future. For the future, for the next manager that comes in, whether it's Inzaghi, whether it's Simeone, whether it's Allegri, Conte, I don't know, right? I would take any of those, Xavi even, and stuff like that. I think Berta has come in more for the future, for the life after Mikel Arteta. And I strongly believe, and this is how I see it. Berta is here to make the deals that Arteta wanted before and Edo could not get done. Hence why, in my opinion, we are 90% still linked with the same players. We were linked when Edu was here and when with Berta's arrival. Now, for me, the big thing about Berta is that the real Andrea Berta business, how he does things, when he does things, I think it will be next summer, which sounds very Top Gunnerish in a way, like Netflix FC next season and everything. But I have a very strong suspicion, that's how I feel at least, that Andreas Berta's best work will start from specifically next summer, not this summer. Because I kind of have a feeling that Mikel Arteta could be gone at the end of this season or during this upcoming season. And I think Berta has been brought in to make the proper business after Mikel Arteta. That's what it feels like. Hence why we are not looking at new players. We are looking at the same players Arteta wants. And it feels like Kroenkes are looking at this. They have signed Berta, they're looking at this, and they have said, well, you signed for Mikel Arteta the players he wants, and if he fails, well, he's gone, and we're going to get on your recommendation a new manager. That's what it feels like, at least for me. I wouldn't judge Berta till the end of the summer, but this is not looking good. True, but looking at how Arteta feels like he can still overrule Andrea Berta on certain deals, I kind of get an inkling that basically Berta is here for next summer more than this summer. Basically, in a future vision that for the life after Mikel Arteta. Let's just put it that way. That's at least how I see it. Because I don't see another reason why Andrea Berta would take this job whilst Mikel Arteta is here. He has openly admitted that he gets more or less the final say on the signings. Unless Andrea Berta has had some certain guarantees which he could not say no to. Let's just put it that way. That's at least how I see it. But I might be talking out of my ass, but that's just my thought process of this. All of a sudden, Arsenal interested in Bakayoko. I don't think it's a PR cover-up. We were linked with him last summer, and we are still linked with him. It's just the fact that it's very cheap. Plus, he can play left wing. By the way, PSG scored, by the way. If you not watching Club World Cup, of course, Fabian Ruiz has scored from Kvaratskhelia assist. Fabian Ruiz has scored from Kvaratskhelia assist. Shocker of the century. The guy I wanted instead of Merino, and people laughed at me and said I was dumb. Let's just put it that way. Let's look at Bakayoko's stats this season, because that is also a good thing we can look at in general, just to maybe get some sort of a looks at it. The problem with that is that we can't say factually Arteta definitely gets sacked if he doesn't win anything next season. That's the thing. We don't know. Let's be real. We don't know. It's just a speculation from our end. Personally, that's just speculation from my end, maybe from your end as well, from people who are watching, by the way. If you haven't, please, as well, while I'm mid this discussion, smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. We are aiming for 1K. Grind to 1K is going strong. We're aiming for 1K before the next season kicks off. And leave your thoughts in the chat as well. Why not? And share the stream if you want. But yeah, definitely get sacked if he doesn't win. We don't know. Let's be real. We don't know. But I kind of get the feeling as well that patience should be running thin as well with Kroenkes. It should. Let's be real. If you're a businessman, despite that, businessmen want money, and they see that they get profits finishing top four, make Champions League and all this stuff, TV revenues, commercial deals, everything. They get money. But they cannot also kind of deny the fact that if they want stuff, they would get more money. And obviously, millionaires, billionaires always want more money. So at some point, he has to go. Like, Josh Kroenke says, be excited. He wants to win trophies, apparently, be very successful. Maybe at some point it will happen. Maybe, but there is no guarantees. For me personally, looking at what City are doing, what Liverpool are doing, we will be at best, in best case scenario, based on the current situation, more than 2 weeks into this transfer market, rest of the best. And the best will be City and Liverpool, and we're going to be the rest. That is the best case scenario. But we are not including still what we're going to sign, who we're going to sign, who other teams are going to sign, like Newcastle, Chelsea, and all these teams. What's going to happen to United and Spurs and everything, how they're going to look, what things going to happen. Will Arteta change his style and tactics? Like, there are lots of variables that can affect this. However, the longer season goes on, and if we drop further on the pecking order of everything, right? And if we fall again earlier out of the Carabao Cup or FA Cup, I think there will be a situation where could be talks about heads rolling. That means Arteta getting sacked. Maybe, who knows? It feels good to have a god back off my PM. When was it? I think it was today. I woke up. I went on Twitter, by the way, and I watched just a 5-minute compilation of Mesut Ozil's best assists and best goals. It was on Twitter. Somebody uploaded, and still that goal against Ludogorets in Bulgaria and everything, how he scored that, and with the double pump fake, chipping and everything. That assist for Cristiano Ronaldo on his weak foot, and that bounce goal against Chelsea and stuff like that. Those were the days. Marlon, with all the respect, nowhere near the Arsenal. Well, he's not. He is not, definitely. He's not. But in Emirates era, you could put some argument. He's a Marlon's GOAT, 100%. Big up everyone who has liked the stream. 11 likes, you are smashing it. Let's aim for 20 likes. If we can hit it by the end of the stream, would be phenomenal. And he's gone great. Of all time, definitely not. In recent decade, I would make that argument, but in overall, definitely not. At Real Madrid, the assist leader and everything, it's actually nuts. Mr. Playmaker, yeah. Big up YouTube Senses. Hope you're doing well. Knowing Arsenal, they will promote Russo to the men's team to save a few quid. We have a chance to get one of the hottest strikers in the world football, and they keep arguing about the price. Exactly, just pay them. And the more we dilly-dal about this, the more uncertainty there is, the more I get the feeling that Arsenal themselves kind of have no idea who they want. Because if they knew who they want, they would have gotten it done already. Watch when Arsenal finally sack Arteta, we give women's team manager the men's job. I would be okay with that. Nah, not so sure. Not so sure that would happen. It can. It has happened in NBA and everything, so maybe. Who is the better passer of a playmaker than Ozil? Santi Cazorla, yeah. Cesc Fabregas. If you mean only Arsenal, Rostitsky was great. In recent times, let's just put it that way. Overall, though, there's loads of them. Marlon is gonna defend this like stink on cheese. Pretty much, he's gonna hold on for dear life, just as he thinks Kiwior is better than Saliba. So better not get AJ. Just don't go into it. Just don't bite. Basically, Fabregas a better playmaker than Ozil by far. Exactly. At Arsenal, at least 100%. I would say it's Santi Cazorla. I would also argue. Rosicki maybe not that. If you can maybe make an argument to some extent for Arsenal top 5, top 10. I would say for Arsenal you could make a strong argument for top 5 in Emirates era specifically. Otherwise, in the world football, no chance in hell whatsoever. I'm just putting it out there. KDB is clear of Ozil, 100%. 100%. Ozil World Cup, UCL plus this season in Madrid. Oh, Fabregas Did you even see Fabregas play, by the way, at Arsenal specifically? Not talking about Chelsea, not talking about Barcelona, I'm talking about Arsenal. Tell me when Ozil's making Denilson and Bentner and Shamak look like serviceable footballers. Oh, bloody hell. Our attack has been some peak times at time. And Ozil, none of these men are even on the same planet. Exactly. Watch Alan Sunderland, then you will agree with that. Well, football stuff. Anyways, let's look at Bakayoko. Since we are linked with Bakayoko, let's look at him. Let's look at Johan Bakayoko and everything. Let's look at his stats. Let's just put it that way. Let's look at his stats. Whoa, it's hella small. That's what she said. Anyways, Johan Bakayoko, 34 games, has started half of them. Not great. Not great stats for this season, I'm not gonna lie, so I guess it is what it is. Plays right wing predominantly, unfortunately, but he, like, 45 million, they made him, like, they would make money on him either way. Looking at his stats, right? 47 games, 12 goals, 3 assists. Let's look at last year, because last year he was the hot prospect of the century, what it felt like. So kind of need to look at from that point of view. There we go. Played again right wing predominantly. In Eredivisie, 12 goals, 9 assists in 33 games. 28 points from 48 games combined. Technically, it looks good on the paper, but overall, not so sure. Not too sure, kind of. Yeah, same amount, yeah. And he plays on the other side. It's a backup for Saka, maybe, but still feels kind of no thank you situation. I'm not going to lie. Kind of feels like a no thank you situation happening right there. But it is what it is. Arsenal, like, for 17 million, I would take that. For 17 million, if that was true. But I'm not going to lie, doesn't seem like true. That, like, seems well hella too cheap for that guy. In other news, Arsenal are linked with another center back, by the way. Another center back. Here we go. Don't watch Ligue 1 too much, so I don't know. But apparently Arsenal are linked with Lille center back Alexandro from Brazil. Anyone watches Ligue 1 and can tell me, is he good or not? That for me is the big question. Is he good or not? I need some insider information. He played 30 games started almost every single game for Lille in the league. So that might be good, maybe. 1 goal, 1 assist for center back, not too bad. Champions League, didn't do too much and everything. French Cup, 1 game. Like, I don't know. Why are we... I get that we need someone like that to be a backup for Saliba and everything, but for about 20 million, maybe? I'm not interested in this Alexandro guy. He just get cut to. True, 100%. The thing is about Alessandro, it kind of feels like he's more of a Saliba backup than left back or left center back situation going on. That's what it feels like, at least for me. Now the question is, will Arteta do that? If we are signing a defender, it must be Hato that these extras aren't gonna do it. Yeah, that is the biggest thing. We have signed extras for the longest time. If you think about it, you know, your Pablo Maris, Cedric Soares's, Lichtsteiners, and everything over the time. Like, it hasn't been good. Let's be real. Rob Holding and players like that. It hasn't been great. Let's just put it that way. It genuinely has not been great. So ultimately, there's no argument that we need a backup for Saliba. We needed one for 3 years, to be honest, but I'm not too sure anymore. I'm genuinely not too sure anymore. Alessandro is listed as left foot, so he would be Magalhaes's backup. So what's the point of Kivior then? And what's the point of Calafiori? Calafiori is going to be a left back, a position where he looks arguably the worst of all the positions he has played at Arsenal. He looks better as a left mid for Arsenal than a left back. He looks better as a center back than a left back. So it's also a weird situation what Arsenal are trying to do here and implement here. So that is a weird one, I'm not gonna lie. Alessandro was the Gabriel Magalhaes replacement. That means anything. Alessandro, that's complete. I'm mixing up players already. But yeah, I'm not so sure, genuinely. I keep saying it. Anderson from Fulham would be a perfect. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Anderson actually is a very good center back. I'm surprised we didn't go for him, but he's actually that good that if he plays for pretty much any team outside of big six teams, if you think about it, he actually is a starter. Maybe even start for United, maybe. But besides that, he's a pretty much starter in Premier League for any team. He's actually that good, which is kind of interesting. And he plays for Fulham, which is also kind of interesting. He went from Palace to Fulham, and Palace actually won stuff without him. For me, he's very solid as a backup, as the main guy, no chance in hell for Arsenal. Saliba's backup has to be right-footed. Hato is neither, to be frank. Exactly. He just solves the Magalhaes backup and left-back situation. But that's the thing, yeah, he solves that. But then again, what's the point of Kivior? Unless we are selling Kivior together with Zinchenko to AC Milan, as we talked yesterday, there is no point in signing these left-footed center backs unless we actually get Hato, right? Unless we play Calafiori as a center back. Like, there is no point whatsoever. I don't know. It genuinely is kind of nuts if you think about it. You want the left back Theo Hernandez available euros, so just do that. Well, 20 million for Theo Hernandez seems good, but why so cheap? For me, that is a big worry. He's on high wages as well, I think, at AC Milan, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know. He's on similar, like, I don't want to say Calafiori because Calafiori is like no thanks in as a left back. But Theo Hernandez is very similar. Going forwards and everything, he is very good, fantastic. Defensively, he's suspect. Let's be real. He looks like a world beater more often than not in Serie A. At the same time, Nuno Tavares outperformed him this season, you could argue, right? So there is very mix and match type of reports and situations. If he goes back, by the way, to Atletico Madrid, apparently, then AC Milan would be willing to pull the trigger on Kivior and Zinchenko, which I'm all good for. I'm not going to lie. I genuinely would be all good for that. Now skip me with Theo. I'm same. I get that Theo Hernandez thing going on, but for me, it's like a no thanks. No thanks. The ship has sailed on him, I'm not going to lie. The ship has kind of sailed on him, at least for me. I'm just going to put it out there. Now, let's see. Hato solves the squad position and has good potential to become the first teamer for a decade. Seems too obvious to me. So we want exact. That is the thing. If it seems too obvious, Arsenal are definitely not doing it. That is also an issue. Speak the best left back in the world for 20 million. Is he the best left back in the world? Nuno Mendes, at least on current form, Nuno Mendes is the best left back in the world, isn't he? So it's not even that Theo Hernandez is the best one. Let's be real. But I would put him in, like, I don't even know where I would put him. Like, offensively, yeah. Defensively, no chance. Hey, what do you make of Matisse still making his move to Tottenham permanent? Well, good luck with that. The thing is, though, knowing Thomas Frank, he most likely is gonna get the best out of him. If we take Brentford as an example, he knows how to get the best out of his attackers. Buemo, insane. Visa, insane. Shade also was firing. Tony was also phenomenal. So you could make an argument that Matisse, if you play him in the correct position, which is on the, I don't want to say striker, actually, on a wing more, he actually could be very dangerous. Maybe at striker, depends. But he actually would be very good if Thomas Frank actually manages and coaches him properly. Theo Hernandez, in my opinion, is not the best in the world. I would love Hato, but we can't go over if you ask me. But how much is Theo Hernandez on weekly? Because the wages are a big issue for me. The wage situation regarding Theo Hernandez, I think, is a big issue for me personally. That for me is the thing. Wait, let's check Serie A, AC Milan. Let's see what they say. I honestly believe Theo Hernandez is the best left back in the world, but no man just right there second, but one is actually available. Like I get your point. I get the reasoning and get the meaning behind this. I would say Theo Hernandez is. I don't even know. I would say Theo Hernandez could be in top 5, but not definitely for me. Not the first. Yeah, PSG is 1-0. Fabian Ruiz scored. Lucky bastard. Wish we had him at Arsenal. Not gonna lie. Wish we had Theo Hernandez at Theo Hernandez, freaking hell, Fabian Ruiz at Arsenal. Theo Hernandez, he's actually on not even that much. If we'll share screen, where is it? Like he's not even on that much. Theo Hernandez is on £83,000 a week, which doesn't seem too much. Genuinely, doesn't seem too much. Like the wages at AC Milan are actually pretty damn low. He's on 2 years left on the deal. Everything, like he's not on even that much. Like seriously, Theo was on AC Milan. Like, is that euros or pounds? Because for me, this is in pounds, and it's £83,000. Where is it here? 83.2, which is actually not too. Like Theo Hernandez gets less money than Timber, Kivio, not Kivio, that's a lie. Timber, Trossard, Zinchenko, Merino, and all these guys. That's actually kind of insane if you ask me. But yeah, Yusuf Fofana. Remember, Arsenal were linked with him. Rafa Leao is only on 100 grand as well, which is very little. I'm not gonna lie, it seems very, very damn little. If we went for him, we actually could have signed him like for properly. Loftus-Cheek, Santiago Jimenez, Reinders. Maignan is only on 58. Jovic, Yunus. Like, it's actually not too bad. It's actually not too bad. Not too bad at all. Theo is on less than Tomiyasu. Yeah. Tomiyasu is on 100 grand a week. Think about it that way. Yeah, Tomiyasu is only on 100 grand a week. Tomiyasu is on 100 and he's on less. Like, there are lots of players who get less money than Tomiyasu and are much better players. I don't want players that that ambitious clubs are going to replace with the hottest upcoming talent. I don't want that. Yeah, I get it. I get that point 100%. Like, if he was one of the best in his position, there would be no reason for AC Milan to get rid of him, in my opinion. Because next season they will be up there if they make the right signings and everything. Like, I get that point 100%. Like it's actually kind of insane if you ask me. One thing I wanted to talk about is this. Where is it? Here we go. Apparently, the only thing that seems clear regarding Nico Williams' future is that he's desperate to sign for another team this summer. Obviously, we've talked about the fact that Arsenal were very interested in him. We have talked about that 100%. We also have talked about the fact that Bayern Munich are the number one target, but apparently, we also, by the way, have talked about the fact that he was resigning a new deal with Atletico, but it doesn't look like it would be the case right now. Apparently, he has already told his Athletic Bilbao teammates that he will not be at the club next season, which seems quite of a rash move given that there is no guarantee that anyone will sign him. Unless he already has something pre-agreed on certain level, which is kind of nuts. There's so much news in all directions during the transfer window. Really is an info war. Yeah, basically, 100%. And the worst part is this info war is very contradicting because you hear different story, same player, different stories, and each one is contradicting the other one. One says one thing, 2 hours later, and a different report says completely different thing about the same player. Completely opposite of what was said 2 hours before. No chance in hell that in 2 hours' time it has changed that drastically, and it happens pretty much on daily basis. Like, it's all just a PR cap bullshit for clicks and everything. This is that generally transfer market is massive payday for journalists. We need winner in that dressing room. We lost one in Kieran Tierney. Theo is another one for the price. It makes too much sense. I get it. I get that point 100%. I hear you. I hear you on that point. But I don't know. There is something about Theo Hernandez that really doesn't convince me fully. Like if we sign Theo Hernandez and Hato, and then we put Miles Lewis Skelly in the midfield, I would have no problems with that. If we only, for example, signed Theo Hernandez, I would have issues with that. Massive ones, to the matter of fact. Theo and Hato, our left back, is done for the night. Yeah, that's the thing. If we sign them both and Skelly goes into midfield, no problem. Genuinely no problem. However, if we only sign, for example, Theo, there are more issues. Again, it doesn't resolve too much, in my opinion. It puts us in another sticky situation, if that makes sense, if you ask me. So there is that as well, if you think about it that way, at least for me. Exactly, goes into left 8 where he should be, exactly. MLS should be playing as a left 8. Unfortunately, they don't see it that way. Oh, PSG about to score 2-0. Apparently. Apparently, PSG is about to score. 2-0 PSG. PSG 2-0. Vitinha scored. Here we go. Vitinha 2-0 PSG. What about DiMarco? I would take DiMarco under one condition, though. DiMarco doesn't strike me as an out-and-out left back. He is more as a wing back, just like Theo Hernandez to some extent, just like Calafiori. Calafiori is a left wing back or center back. Same goes for DiMarco for me. He's more of a left wing back than a left back. And unless we start to play 3 at the back or 5 at the back, not sure if that would work. Although I like the player, I'm not gonna lie, he's a very good player. If we can get both Hato and Theo, then by all means, exactly, then by all means. But after signing the Zucchini Calamari, I don't think we have room to get 2 left back signings. Exactly. I have Hato as higher priority than Theo. For me as well. I'm not gonna lie, for me as well. And left back is the lowest priority position to address in the squad of the positions that we have to be addressed. Exactly. For me, we need to address the midfield and attack, and then we can address the defense. Issues with defense arguably depends on the outgoings defensively as well. Obviously, Saliba has no backup, the way I see it. If you look at the left back position, you pretty much Arsenal kind of have to make a choice. Either they sign 2 left backs, or they sign 1 left back and Skelly stays at left back. Personally, I don't want Skelly to stay at left back. For me, he should be going into the midfield. And then we must sign 2 left backs again. Will Arsenal do it? No chance in hell. Unfortunately, there's no chance of Arsenal doing it, which is kind of annoying, to say the least. Now, this year we have heard lots of rumors and lots of excuses regarding the injuries, right? We all can agree to that. Correct? Correct. So here it is. Injuries. Arsenal hit hardest by injuries last season. That is the title that Sky Sports have pushed out. Right? Arsenal suffered more from injuries than any other Premier League club last season, when factoring in the quality of sideline players. While the Gunners rank only 9th for total days lost, that metric doesn't reflect the importance of the injured players. Look at these injuries. Days lost from injuries in Premier League last season. Oh, but we had injuries more than any other team. Oh, yeah, we should have kept Tierney if Arteta wasn't so obsessed with inverted crap. Jonathan David is still available, yeah. Why we haven't signed him is also a mystery. Would have solved a bunch of problems for us this season. Yeah, 100%. 100%, especially if we go away from that. Brian Blemo is still available. Steal him from Spurs and United. That could be... Arsenal don't steal. Let's be real. Arsenal don't do that. Newcastle had more injuries than us. Their players missed more days due to injuries than Arsenal. Exactly. Well, of course, we should Arteta stupid. How come Eddie Howe isn't being give injury excuses? Exactly. Eddie Howe won Carabao Cup despite all this, by the way. And the biggest part, Carabao Cup. Yeah, Carabao Cup. And you know what the nuts part is? We have, where is Arsenal? About 1,400 something days missed due to injuries, right? Now think about this. Tomiyasu has played 6 minutes for Arsenal, or 12 minutes. 12 minutes for Arsenal this last season. Rest of the time, he has been injured, which at the end of the day means he has missed 365 days. Let's just say a year, pretty much, right? Or 300 days, whatever. Now, if you subtract from that Arsenal point around 300 days, it instantly drops to Leicester territory. It drops somewhere Arsenal had 1,427. Tomiyasu misses about 300 days. If you subtract that, we are here somewhere, just below Leicester. Let's be real. Because Tomiyasu doesn't play at all. Tomiyasu doesn't play whatsoever. Odegaard, Rice, Saka, Havertz, Timber, White, Martinelli, Merino, Gabriel has blah, blah, blah. Injuries were peak. Even Trossard had a few. Yeah, but where is it? Where is this? I know there it was somewhere. Here we go. The amount of days missed due to injuries. All had injuries, but did they miss too much? Tomiyasu, injured, doesn't play at all. Jesus, he played a few games, but let's be real, he's mostly injured anyway. So you can count him, but at the same time, you don't. Let's be real. Ben White, he played for a few months, then he got a surgery and almost didn't play at all because Timber had to play. It starts from Saka pretty much. He got injured, had surgery, and he came back. Calafiori got 4 injuries. Saka had 4 injuries. Tierney, he doesn't play at all whatsoever. So what's the point in counting him into this instance? Havertz, light training in Dubai and gets out for 106 days and still is out technically. Magalhaes, same thing, missed only 7. That's by the way, is days, not even games. This is days. Odegaard, 1 injury, missed 56 days. So he wasn't out for that long, was he? People want to say, oh, he was out for 3 months almost. 56 days. That's not even 2 months, by the way. Will Tomiyasu still be a football player when he recovers? No. Same goes for Jesus, because both of his knees have been meshed up to the maximum extent. Let's be real. He has had surgeries on both knees and multiple surgeries. Our players didn't even miss that much time. Exactly. From the players that play regularly over the last few seasons specifically, right? Last few seasons specifically. Tomiyasu doesn't count. Gabriel Jesus, he's injured all the time because of Arteta's mismanagement. Ben White is the first one. Saka. And have you noticed that many of these players who have gotten injured this season have been the most durable players for Arsenal overall over the years? Saka pretty much never gets injured. He limps on the pitch, but he plays on. Havertz, for Arsenal, almost never gets injured. He got injured. Gabriel Magalhaes, man of steel, gets injured at Arsenal all of a sudden. It's because they all are overplayed, overworked, no backups, no squad management, no player management, and no overall squad rotation whatsoever. This is simply down to Arteta and his fashion. Yeah, exactly. Pep taught him some wrong thing. Yeah, but Pep says he doesn't want it. Calafiori forever injured. Jesus forever injured. Tomiyasu forever injured. That is the case. Big up Darren, by the way. Tomiyasu always injured. Jesus as well forever injured. Calafiori, he joined us and got injured pretty much instantly. Same goes for Merino. He got injured in the first training of the season, by the way. Remember? Gabriel fell on his shoulder and he was out for how many? 2 months almost. Like, it's actually kind of nuts. Skelly missed 9 games. Genuinely, Skelly missed 9 games. Trossard missed 9 games. Saliba missed 11 games. 11 days, not games, it's days. Sorry, 11 days. And that doesn't count how many games he missed, actually. Just days. What's on the 3rd page? Fabio Vieira, lol. Partey missed only 5 days. 5 days. Like, it's actually nuts. David Raya missed 8, and he didn't even play in those cup games. Like, genuinely, you look, these 2 players alone, the first 2 players, they factor together 420 days of injury. And if you look at this graph, 420 days, right? 420 days puts Arsenal below Leicester and just above Aston Villa. It puts Arsenal at the bottom of the table regarding days missed. Because Tomiyasu doesn't play anyways. He didn't play last season, didn't play this season. Jesus was injured last season, he's injured this season. So they are undependable. You cannot count on them, so they don't play. So ultimately, if you take those 2 players out alone, Arsenal had no injuries. At the end of the day, Arsenal had pretty much no injuries whatsoever. Well, days-wise at least. But that is days as well. It doesn't factor games, like per se. Switch Jesus and Tomiyasu with 2 players being available, even that's a huge... Exactly. That is the biggest thing. Switch Jesus out with any player who plays. Like, switch Jesus with even Mika Biereth, for example. Switch out Tomiyasu defensively, right? With Aiden Heaven, who bumped off to United. Isn't that a massive improvement availability-wise, for example? Especially talking about Mika Biereth at striker. Like, that would help Arsenal massively. Cult members acting like Havertz would have won us anything if he was fit for us. Yep, 100%. Robbie said from AFTV he's going to score 20 goals. If we don't sign at least 7 players this summer, we might as well give up already. I fully agree with you, Burton, by the way. Big up. I fully agree. But when have you seen Arsenal sign at least 5 players a window? Not even 7, 5. Last summer we signed 4, technically, right? When have you seen us sign 5 last time? We don't deal in big businesses overall. It's very, very rarely. And think about it. As I said before, it's actually kind of insane if you come to think of it. These 2 players don't play almost at all for Arsenal almost any season. What it feels like, at least last 2. That's 420 days of missed due to injury. And if we genuinely take this away, Arsenal are at the bottom side. They are about 14, 15 in days missed due to injury. So there are no injury excuses. And then you have this instance when Arsenal affected most by injuries. It was October and April. October and April, right? Let's look at who Arsenal played in October and April. Let's see if that was somewhat actually decent games that they missed. October and April. Let me zoom out a bit so it looks a bit better. October and April, right? So there's January, December. Move on. Here we go. October. Here we are. So we won against PSG. We won against Southampton. We lost with the Saliba stupid red card against Bournemouth. We beat Donetsk. We drew against Liverpool. And we beat Preston. So we didn't lose that much, did we? And the other one was what? April? It was April, I think, right? In April, despite the injuries, we drew against Everton. We beat Fulham. We beat Madrid twice, by the way. We beat Ipswich. We drew against Brentford because we rotated these both games because Real Madrid. And we drew against Crystal Palace. And we lost to PSG, but that's a bit different story. But yeah, so we didn't lose that much, did we? Due to these injuries. We didn't lose that much. The season was done. We focused on other things. Well, but we gave Tomiyasu a contract extension where we could have sold him and we already knew he was injury prone. Exactly. The same goes with Jesus. Jesus could have been sold a year ago for about 45, 50 million to Palmeiras. They gave us an offer. Guess what they do and Arsenal did? No, thank you. We don't want 45, 50 million. Basically get the same money you paid for him back. We much rather keep him on our books, 265 grand a week, and let him stay injured. Good job. Tomiyasu, yeah. Guys wanted to be able to sign both strikers because it seems that we are advancing at both. Big Apostin. Guys wanted to be able to sign both the strikers, because it seems, yeah, maybe. At the same time, they talk about the fact that Andrea Berta likes to work on multiple signings simultaneously. So at the end of the day, he doesn't left short in a situation where one falls flat or someone steals one from him or decides not to join. So maybe we want to sign both, or he wants just to have both available. But knowing Arsenal, it might not be either of them. Let's be real. Bro, just give up then, because that ain't happening. I get it. The 7 players, yeah. Big up, AJ. Thank you for dropping by. Gentleman or scholar, big up. Big up yous. Big up. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope everything is well with you. Smash the likes and subscribe. Listen to the man. Smash the likes if you haven't already. And subscribe if you're new, aiming for that big 1K by the start of the next season. Big up to you. Go subscribe to views as well. Top content, interventions, call-in shows, collabs, everything you want regarding sports, Arsenal, and all that good stuff. Yeah, big up AJ. But yeah, Arsenal, it's actually not that bad as people want to make out to be. Oh, this one takes the cake, by the way. This legitimately takes the cake of all of things. Read this out. Read this out. Key players Arsenal were missing due to injuries. Ben White, Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, Calafiori, Jesus, and Takehiro Tomiyasu. Missed around 3 months or more. Martin Odegaard and Gabriel were also sidelined for roughly 2 months. I'm not a stickler, by the way, but Tomiyasu, key player. Gabriel Jesus hasn't played more 2 years in a row, what it feels like, a key player. Calafiori was injured 4 times, first season in Premier League. Key player? Really? I get the rotation part and everything, and Skelly plays instead of him. Arteta prefers even if he comes back, but key player all of a sudden. I'm not so sure about that one, Chief. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. At the end of the day. Nothing has changed regarding Arsenal. Same old. Same old. I wonder if there are any news regarding Arsenal currently. Anyone seen anything on social media these days? Are Arsenal advancing in any talks whatsoever? Like, seriously, it's actually kind of nuts. It's genuinely kind of nuts. And Caroline part of he is. Leave him out of that. He's been injured 4 times this season. He's getting there, not far off already. One of the main reasons why Arsenal's board didn't want to sign him at certain stages during last summer was because of his injury record. That already shows that they have worries about him. It's just Arteta really wanted him like a shiny new toy, hence why we got him. That is the biggest difference there. That is genuinely the biggest difference there. I wonder what would have happened if we didn't get him. Who we would have gotten instead. Anything happening, again, people, anything happening, yeah, AC Milan still want, not Calafiori, Zinchenko and everyone, but 200 grand a week. Wages are a massive issue for them. AC Milan made an inquiry for Ricardo Calafiori? Interesting. Arsenal are actively pursuing deals for both Sesko and Gyökeres, while they do not plan to sign 2 strikers. Andrea Berta is keeping his options open and has held advanced discussions over both players. Ollie Watkins is also on the radar. So basically, if we don't get Sesko or Gyökeres, we're gonna sign Ollie Watkins. Hey! Be happy, guys. Be excited, guys. We're going to win the league, guys. Best team in the world. Best manager in the world. And we're going to sign Ollie Watkins. Imagine spending a month torturing fans with all the news, information, everything, just to not get any of those. Because that is still a possible scenario at the end of the day. I don't think it's going to happen, I'm telling you that now. I think we're going to sign one of them, but it is a possibility. We got Super Mick Arteta, basically. Yeah, we got Super Mick Arteta. Anything other in footballing world happening besides Club World Cup and all this jazz that's happening? Matisse Tel has been signed. Gattuso, Italy manager. Arsenal maintain their confidence, optimism to get Miles Lewis-Skelly new deal done, as talks are already at advanced stages. Arsenal are not worried at all by the recent links with clubs, as is expected to stay. Good for you, I guess. Good for you. Odds on that Arsenal could sign Garnacho this summer. Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that Arsenal are going to sign Garnacho this summer? Like, just talking about this, because United want to get rid of him. He wants to stay in Premier League. He doesn't want to go to play under Ten Hag at Bayer Leverkusen. Is there a possibility of that? Trust the process. Yeah, trust the process. I'm not saying I want him, but there are some very vague links. And you know how that goes usually with Arsenal, with the vague link. So yeah, ultimately you never know, but it doesn't look too promising, does it, at the end of the day? Let's see what tomorrow brings. As I said today in the beginning of the stream, by the way, I'm not too sure what we're going to do tomorrow on the stream, because unless there is some hella breaking transfer news, I'm not too sure what to do on stream tomorrow. Might do some reactions on my old videos. Might do some top 5 wingers or top 5 midfielders Arsenal should be signing, in my opinion, or something like that. Gonna look at transfer news, because I want to talk transfers, but I don't want to talk transfers. I might just look at transfers and basically talk about everything else besides Gyökeres and Sesko to some extent. Maybe something like that. Or maybe just touch upon it just a tiny bit, because this is starting to get hella old and it's getting on my nerves already. I don't care if it's taking forever. Trust the process. Yeah, basically. I'm not gonna see Arsenal do anything. Thinks he's CR7 closer to Wash. And he's closer to Washed Ribery. You know how insulting that is to Ribery, by the way. He cannot even speak in the same breath as Ribery Garnacho. You know that, right? Still just shown us that he's trash by going to Spurs, so whatever. Hopefully Frank doesn't do some magic with him, because Frank knows how to get his strikers firing and wingers as well. I think he would have passed. Why can't I have Spurs? I prefer best players over the nations. I prefer best players of every nation's team, Robo. Wait, what? I prefer best players of every nation stream. Oh, I get it. I get it. Best players of every nation. I get it. Now I get it. Per position or overall and everything. I totally get it. I got it. Took me a second, but I got there. But anyways, guys, I think on that note, I'm going to end today's stream. Best player of each country. Do you know how many countries are in the world? You know that, right? How many countries are in the world? I could do more specifically best player of each country that I have seen. Because if we talk in generals, it will be very boring. Because I cannot speak, for example, for players that played 40 years ago, because I'm not that old. I have seen clips, but I haven't seen them live. I can talk from what I have seen in person on TV and stuff like that. I can talk about those players. Let's just put it that way. Wait until we have to find the best player from the. Oh, that's easy. That's Odegaard. That's easy, Odegaard. Ivory Coast. You know that JJ Okocha is from Nigeria, right? And Ivory Coast is Didier Drogba and all these guys, right? Just like what? You know that, right, Marlon? Look, he plays like that. Might as well. You got it hella wrong, to be honest. But yeah, maybe for tomorrow we could talk about that. Best players I have seen or you have seen from each nation. At least you have seen. Not in general, but you have seen play. Let's just put it that way. because if we talk in generals, it will be a very, very boring list, because mostly people are gonna say from Brazil this, from Nigeria, from England that, and everything. But if we start to talk about players you have seen specifically, and I have seen specifically, from time you start watch TV and watch games in general, then I can see that. Then we can talk about it, because yeah. So yeah, but for today, I'm gonna sign out. I'm gonna go relax because tomorrow is Monday. Yuck. I have to go back to work and everything. So we'll see how that goes for me. But yeah, for today, I'm gonna be heading out. Hope you have tomorrow a great day. If you haven't already, please do me a favor, like the stream, subscribe if you're new, leave your thoughts down in comments below if you're watching this as a playback. Would Odegaard be the best player in his country if he played for the Vatican? Maybe. Pope got more tech, dude. I get it. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna end it today here. See you all tomorrow. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Depending on the transfer news, we might do actually best player I have seen from each country. Maybe we can do starting 11s, like combined 11, for example, for France, for Germany, and teams like that, because it specific player from each country is very subjective, because there are 11 positions on the pitch, and it is a bit rough in that regard. So we'll see. We generally will see. But for now, I'm going to sign out. Have to see you all tomorrow. And if you haven't already, go check out my TikTok, go check out my YouTube short, like the stream, subscribe, and see you very, 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 very soon. And big up BBK Sports, lurking in the background. Oh my goodness gracious. Sneaky. By the way, go subscribe to BBK Sports as well. Top guy and top content. Subscribe to the BBK. Yeah, subscribe. Yeah, big up to you all. Peace.